Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, back on this Friday. What a Friday, seriously. We got a lot to talk about. October 5th, 2018. Well, let's start off with the basics, I guess. I'm a little flustered after this crazy day, seriously. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the one everyone likes to look at, did finish down 180 points, but earlier today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 326 points. Now, if you had seen the video that I did this morning, it was prophetic. And I mean literally, I explained to you that the wild card was not so much the bond market today, which did wiggle around a little bit, but it was the dollar. Now, when stocks were at their lows of the day, if you were following this, you could see it live, could have seen it live right on my website, traderschoice.net. The dollar was getting stronger. The market obviously detests a stronger dollar here with the 10-year yield where it is. I'm sitting there and I'm sweating this out myself, and I'm not going to lie, because I had a whole bunch of my credit spreads which expired today. I'll talk about that in a little bit too. But if you noticed, again, you were probably laughing. You were probably going, not just laughing, but going, wow, Greg said this. When the dollar started to weaken again, stocks started to rebound. Look, the fact of the matter is this. The situation is literally on a knife's edge where we are right now with regard to a balancing act between what's going on in the bond market and the U.S. dollar. And this is again why China is choosing to weaponize the debt. I want to talk about that a little further too. But let me get a little bit on track here. So, yes, we had a little bit more of a sell-off in the bond market today, but, and I explained to you earlier, we have some wiggle room here. There's no red lines in the sand. No matter how many times I say that, it's funny, I go online and I just look for things, and I find chat rooms where people are talking about me, saying, oh, Greg Mannarino says there's a line in the sand at 3.22 or 3. No, I never said that. There is no line in the sand. So I wish these people would either pay attention or whatever their problem is. I don't know. Maybe they're deliberately trying to mislead people. I wish I knew. What I'm trying to do here is put the most light on the situation that we are in so we can understand where we are and where we might be going. It's just so simple. Really is. So understanding the dynamic between the dollar and the bond market is the key, or the keys, to where the stock market is going to go in this environment, people. I cannot stress that enough. Okay. Now, let's talk about why I was kind of flustered today a little bit. Again, if you go to my website, I'm going to leave all my trades there, even the ones that expired, until probably Monday morning or maybe Sunday night. So go have a look. You will see. And I'm not saying that I got lucky here, because there's a lot of skill that goes into this, but every single one of my credit spreads, all of them, that expired today, well, did exactly what I expected it to do. Look at the strike prices. If you want to see this for yourself, it's very simple. Look at every single trade I have there. Look at the strike price of the equities or equity derivatives that I sold onto the market. None of those strike prices of those puts that I sold got hit. So I got to keep 100% of the premium on every single trade there. There are a few that expire next week. So look at the date. You will see today's date, October 5th, the ones that expired today. But again, this could have turned on a dime. And Google was kind of like the thorn in my side today. At one point, Google, Alphabet, whatever, but Goog, actually did fall below my put strike price. So I didn't like to see that, but I kind of thought when I saw the dollar weakening a little bit that the market might turn around. So I held on to it until the closing bell. But let me explain this to you. Up until that last bong went off for the bell, I was sweating it. I was literally sweating. So I didn't have to close any position. It didn't cost me anything to trade out of them. That's why I love credit spreads. That's why I love credit freaking spreads. Now let me put a couple of other more light on things for you. There is possibly a little stay of execution here. That just came to my mind with regard to this market on Monday. The bond market is closed on Monday, so we're not going to see any of this crazy, bizarre action. You understand? That may give the stock market a little room to breathe. Now, I don't know how many of you follow me on Twitter, but I did post there that I was not going to enter a single position prior to the close today, and I did not do that. I might not enter a new position on Monday either because I want to see what happens with the bond market come Tuesday. You understand? So Monday's going to be an especially interesting day because there's so much on the line here with regard to what's happening in the bond market. The dollar, though, obviously, the dollar is going to trade. So we need to keep our eye on the dollar. That's the truth come Monday, and I will talk about this Monday morning. Actually, I'll address a lot of stuff on Sunday with you when I do my Markets a Look Ahead segment, but this is just completely insane. So let me say a few more things here that I want you to pay attention to, and I want you to think about what's going on here. And none of what I am about to say is anti-President Trump or anything whatsoever. I want our country to succeed. You know that. I want President Trump to succeed, period. I want us all to succeed. But there is a dangerous, dangerous game going on here. The number one game is that, and a lot of people seem to be buying into the propaganda that we are winning the trade war. At this particular time, first of all, there's really no winners here. Everyone's going to be a loser. It's just degrees of losing. That's the truth. Now, with that said here, and we all understand what's happening, these moves in the bond market, these huge amount of debt that's being sold back onto the market, we know who's doing it. I mean, it's glaring in our face, but no one talks about it. You will not hear this from the Confederacy of Dunces, the biggest dunces in the face of the earth, especially Bob Pisani today. Bob, you almost made me vomit all over my floor all day today with your distractions. Pay attention to what's going on here, Bob, because believe me, things are not what you say they are. Anyway, so it's very simple to understand what's going on. The action in the bond market is, these are retaliatory strikes by China attacking our bond market. Again, they hold vast amounts of our debt. They're the biggest player out there holding our debt besides the Federal Reserve. So, if you notice something, I'm going to bring this to your attention. Since the sell-off here in bonds, just over the past couple of days, now again, this is not against President Trump, but I want you to think about why this is happening. Our president has gone radio silent with regard to badgering China, with regard to explaining, oh, we're going to hit him with more tariffs. This is a language like I have explained to you. It's not just the bond market that China will attack here. They can also buy dollars. We can already see the effect of the stronger dollar here. And a lot of this is China playing games. This is China playing games with our market. We've allowed this to manifest itself here, people. We got problems that it seems that our politicians do not want to address. Obama didn't want to talk about this, never, okay? We have these issues, and somebody is going to have the guts to explain the situation that we're in. I was hoping and praying, literally, that it was going to be this guy. But the propaganda war is epic. I mean, whenever things seem to be going good with regard to economic news, it gets touted. These unemployment numbers today, which A lot of you seem to believe are fake. I think they're fake too. You will not hear about the trade. Do you believe our president would come out today and talk about how our trade deficit just hit a 6-month high? No, he won't tell you that. It's the look here, look here. I am trying to explain this to you very logically. I do not care who sits in that pretty White House. I don't. I just want someone in there that is going to explain the truth to people, that we are in a dire, dire spot. And right now, China, and I know you don't want to hear this, is the puppet master. They're pulling the strings because they've been acquiring our debt for decades for this exact reason. They've been hoarding dollars for this exact reason. They're very shrewd, very smart, and more dangerously, patient. They can sit there and they're willing to wait. Is what's going on now hurting China? Yeah, it is. But they do not have an economy like we do. They do not care if their people suffer in an economic slowdown whatsoever. People can speak out and scream and cry and yell. Doesn't matter. Does not matter because they have a managed market. Everything, it's the way it is. We have a managed market too. I'm talking about a managed economy to the degree that we can only imagine, because unless you live there. It's the truth. So understand where we are here. Now, let me cover a few more things. So, a lot of people have been writing to me over the past couple of days explaining, well, we owe China all this money. Why don't we just not pay them? Think about what you're saying. You're talking about a debt default by the United States. If we default on our debt, what does that mean? You see the action that we're seeing in the bond market here? Magnify that 1,000 times. Bonds will go into free fall. Bonds will go into free fall the moment we default on our debt. There's no doubt we can't do it. And China knows we can't do it. So that's where they can pull the strings here. If we default on our debt, what would happen to the dollars in your pocket? Poof! Watch the purchasing power just evaporate. Again, it's the currency, the debt, it's not backed by anything except the full faith and credit of the United States. If we default on our debt, there goes our credit, there goes everything. Then what happens? China steps in, takes over world currency, everything. It will be a completely new set of dynamics. So don't say these things without understanding the cause and effect of what you are talking about. It's a crazy thing. So again, my bet is, especially after this week, we're going to start to see more normal talk regarding the trade war with China. Not rhetoric, yelling, talking about how we're going to slam them with another $230 billion in tariffs. Not going to happen. Again, our president has gone radio silent over the past couple of days. Radio silent. Earlier in the week, I think we heard from Pence before the whole meltdown that we've seen. And it's being called a meltdown. It's being called a bloodbath in the bond market. So understand where we are at. This is a language, like I've been explaining to you. China is talking directly to President Trump via the markets. His Achilles heel, our Achilles heel, is our debt. It's a horrible thing. And fact that we have the world reserve currency thus far. Don't you believe that another country would love to have the world reserve currency and have to, again, when a central bank, let's say the Federal Reserve, has the world reserve currency, that means in order for other countries to transact, they have to buy dollars, which creates demand, constant demand for those dollars. It's an unbelievable situation. Imagine sitting in that seat. It's an incredible thing. But again, and there are many people who have said, if you really understood how the financial system works, you would run for the hills. I think I have a pretty damn good idea how it works. Most people think they have an idea of how it works, and it just gets them in more trouble. But I've been studying this for years upon years upon years. I know, I believe, I'd like to believe, I know what I'm talking about. And I've explained this market to you, like today. Classic example. I told you what would happen with the dollar. I said in the video, title, it was the wild card. Look what happened here. This is a language that we're seeing here. And we're being toyed with. We're in an it's not just a trade war. Maybe, perhaps, the days of shooting wars are over. All we need to do is attack each other's economy like this and bring a nation to its knees by economic warfare. That's the truth. Either way you look at it, this guy sitting here, I despise warfare. I want us all to get along. Again, if more people adopted I'm including you, if you follow this blog, my premise is that, we need to love each other, care for each other, and be charitable, which I say every single Friday before I finish, this world will be a much, much better place. All right, look, I'm going to leave you all with that because I know this is getting kind of long. Did I cover anything here important? Do people need to hear this stuff? If they do, please give me that thumbs up. I can't tell you how happy a silly thumbs up makes this guy. And if you share this stuff, that'll even make me more happy because we'll get more people to understand what's going on. Ignore the propaganda. Ignore the lies. All warfare is based on deception. Understand? Not just deception of your enemy, but deception of the people involved in it. And we are in a war. It may not be a bloody shooting war yet, but this is a trade war. It is economic warfare. That's where we are. I mean, you have to be blind not to see what went on here this week. Look, I'm getting flustered. Can't even talk. I'm going to let you all go. Please, people. I'm going to say it one more time before I let you go. Love each other. Love each other. Care about each other. And be charitable. So important. All of this doesn't mean a damn thing if we can't adopt that. And I'm counting on you as part of my team to make it work. All right. I will see you on Sunday, and I'll possibly do another live stream Monday, and we'll talk about it then. See you Sunday.